Hello, and welcome to June 28th. Alphas PG at point -5. Very good. Oh, before we go there, let's go ahead and look at this opening slide again. And here we are. The opening slide is that the stochastics is 9.4 and the SPY jumped to 14.7. It's beating us out. Let's go look at that. There it is, 14.7 year to date. And there it is. The SPY is in the uptrend. Dow is down, Nasdaq went up, and Nasdaq went down. Wow, why is that affecting our situation here? Well, we are working on loss leaders. That's what I was going to get into right now today. Is that when you're working with a watch list, be it loss leaders or be it a selection of friendly stocks or favorite stocks, and you tend to stay with that list, you could end up in a corner where you do not have a lot of trade opportunities because it's just their turn, not just yet. That's all. And our loss leaders, we have about 40, only 45 lost, 45 to 48 lost leaders. I lost count, but I'll get it later. But that's the bottom line. So now, so PG is at a minus 0.5. It got triggered here at the 134.95. And now we're looking at for that clearance of the gantry to get up past the entry point. And with that said, let's go on now to YELP. And YELP got triggered. Well, it got triggered a couple of days ago. There it is. Okay, so YELP has not cleared the gantry. It's still on the platform. And so our stop is still at 38.20 and going up. So let's go on now and talk about the loser, the one that got stopped out. So CPRI got stopped out, and it got stopped out exactly as the rules say. It got in here, it cleared gantry here yesterday, and then it got stopped out today. So the results are we had a lost exit for the day at 8.7%. That's what's important here. We're keeping our exit losses percentage lower than going then, and once we clear that gantry. So we're now going to each entry price equals stop once price has cleared completely away from the entry point. That includes the bottom of that wick. So we lost $64 on the trade, one contract, $2 in fees. A new added loss of $66 to a $41.73 on the owed. Now we have a new owe of $42.39. As I said before, it's going to take time for this to work through its system. That said, let's go on to something else here. The Nemesis of the week. The Nemesis of the week this week is PGWCX. And let's go ahead and zoom in there a little closer. Oops, I didn't mean to rotate it. Okay, so here we are. And you'll notice that their year to date, this of all the mutual funds that we have been picking on the Monday openings, this is one that's finally getting close to excuse me, getting close to SPY. Most of them have been lagging behind the SPY. And so this is PGWCX, and it's by Virtus Alliance GI Portfolio. And here are the fund managers, Mr. Edelman and Min Gupta. So that takes care of the Nemesis for the week. So now let's go on to something else I wanted to talk to you about before we can continue. I'm going to give a shout out to my headmaster, Courtney Smith. He is really in the past he was not a lot of videos, but now he is really onto it. And this video here of the making money and all these short videos are very good. And what he does, he does a great market analysis of the coming week. Now, the subscription for this is Wall Street Winners, and I also highly recommend it. It has a good return, mostly geared toward equity stocks, as opposed to me being an options trader. But I learned all the foundations of my trading come from him and one other source, OTA Online Trading Academy. Those are my two main schools. Also, too, is Sean Takayoshi, Invest with F.I.R.E. I went to an event this past weekend. and talking to a couple of young people there, and said, well, what's your desire? And they said, retire. I mean, these are 30, 40-year-olds, and they want to retire. And I said, okay, then you got to work on FIRE. Financial independence, retire early. That's what FIRE stands for. And I highly recommend Sean here because he has he presents things very, very simplistic and not a lot of market jargon. Okay, with that said, let's go on to scanner time. Yes, let's go and see what the world is going to do to us tomorrow. And so we go over here to the scanner. Now I'm going to do a benchmark. This is the STO core strategy, and we got to change the account to Alpha. This is the core strategy for the stochastics, and as you can see, we have 7. But because we're not doing this core strategy, this was done January and February earlier this year to establish the bench position, and their stocks came in pretty good. We also do another theory called DTE, but that's further down the line. But the bottom line is, now that we have that as a benchmark, now we're going to go into our scanner of the month, and the scanner of the month is Stochastics Uptrend. This is where the 10 EMA must also agree with the stochastics in the up direction, and there is nothing there. Okay, coming on now down to the stochastics downtrend. See if anything there, and the alphas also, and nothing there. So, and let's benchmark. Let's go ahead and benchmark the stochastics core strategy for the downtrend and against the open market. Oh no, against the alphas, and nothing. And we have two. We have Will and Arena, and I'll be checking those two out to see about their possibilities. In the open market for the down core, for those interested, we'll go on to all optionable. It is going to be a big scan. It's going to be massive. In fact, let's go ahead and reduce it just a little bit more. Add a 0 here. Make it 200,000 shares at $1 to 500 and go. So this is going to take a little bit of time, and we'll be able to conclude today's report of losers become winners with stochastics still running behind the SPY, and the clock is ticking, and there it is. We have 74 in the downtrend in the open market, sorted by volume, which is if you're going to, this is again circling back to the early part of the conversation about watch lists. A watch list will limit you, absolutely. Your own budget constraints will limit something. Remember, if the scanners have nothing to trade, they have nothing to trade. That's okay. And even though you have the mantra of idle money makes no money, you still have to be cautious and have the right tools for it. Let's go ahead and run an up scan to the up market. Oh, that's right here. Up scan. And we're going to go to the open market in closing. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that we are in for the July shift coming up next week. We are going to continue with our stochastic studies, but we are going to go to the open field. We are going to abandon our lost leaders list in a way. That is that we will play these guys, and if our lost leaders appear on the sheet, they get the plate. Okay, so you can see we have over 705 in that regard, and with the highest one being BlackBerry. Yeah, BlackBerry is back in the game at 12.8, 1280. Not a bad price. Not a bad price. So that might have some good options. Check it out. All right. With that said, we're going to conclude today's report. Would losers become winners? And I thank you very much for stopping by for June 28th.